Hello everybody, my name is Jay. I'm one of the expert PTE teachers here at E2 Language. What we're going to do in this live class is look at PTE Reading fill in the blanks. What we're going to do more specifically is I'm going to give you an overview of this task. I'll tell you how many questions you're going to get, how long you should spend on each of the questions, etc. We're going to learn some theory about collocations and word types because that's actually what this task is testing for. Once you've understood that, we can get to number 3, which is the method, before finally doing some practice, and I'll take you through the answers, okay? So firstly, an overview. This is what PTE Reading fill in the blanks looks like on test day. It's pretty straightforward. What you need to do is drag one of these words into the gap to form a collocation, which I'll tell you about later. Now the text that you will see will be 80 words max. So we're talking between sort of 3 and 5 sentences. So it's not a long text at all. And in the text, you'll get sort of 4, 5, maybe 6 gaps. And there might be up to 8 answer options. So there'll always be more answer options than there are gaps. You'll get 4 or 5 of these items on test day in a row. And you should be spending around 60 seconds max on each of these tasks, okay? Cool, so that was the overview. Let's have a brief chat about some theory. But if you do not have time to stick around and watch this, maybe what you want to do is watch the Express Methods lessons. They're on e2language.com. They're much shorter, they're very sharp, and they're very powerful. All right, let's discuss collocations because this is really what you're being tested on for this task. A collocation, really, this refers to how words combine. And it also refers to how natural or native-like your vocabulary sounds. Okay? Collocations are a very good test of your English ability. Really, there are 2 ways that I can tell if you have native-like English or not. The first one is through pronunciation. If you speak to me and your first language comes through and you have a thick accent, that's one way that I can tell that you're not native-like. The sounds of the language. The second way is the way in which you use vocabulary. Do you use your vocabulary, not necessarily single words, but groups of words together in a native-like way? Are your expressions and the phrases you use native-like? This is what collocations do. They make you sound native-like. They're really, really important. They're important not just for speaking, but also for writing as well. You want to make sure you include these in your essay, for example. All right, cool. I'm going to show you what they are first, but first of all, I want you to see if you can actually identify some collocations, some combinations of vocabulary in this paragraph. Okay, so in fact, in this short paragraph, there are a number of collocations, of combinations of words. For example, prepare for, which is a verb and a preposition that commonly appear together. Nouns and nouns like food industries. Adjective noun like ideal preparation. Noun and noun like management positions. Noun and verb like positions demand. What about noun and past participle, as in consumer focused? You could also look at that focused as an adjective as well. Commercially aware, which is an adverb and an adjective. Another adverb adjective, internationally orientated and technically competent. So that paragraph had, I don't know how many was there, like 6 maybe? There were quite a few. And what you'll find, native speakers are not creative with what they say, right? We're not thinking of adjective and noun combinations. We're pulling set phrases from our vocabulary when we speak or when we write. And it sounds great. And when non-native speakers use these collocations, it sounds excellent. It really does. Let's have a look at a big list of them so you can get a better idea. By the way, this list is available on e2language.com for anybody, free and paid users. You can download it from the reading section if you sign up for PTE. So here we have a verb, adopt, and here we have a noun, approach. So you adopt an approach. Or here's an adjective noun combination, advanced economy, or advanced technology, or an adverse effect, or an adverse reaction. Here's an adverb-verb combination, adversely affect. Or maybe a verb noun, like you affect the outcome or affect the development. Okay? I hate to tell you this, but there are literally thousands of these. On the word list that you get from E2 Language, there are 2,500. Now, what I don't want you to do is think that you have to memorize these. What this list will help you to do is raise your awareness of these commonly occurring phrases, these natural sounding collocations, okay? That's all you need to do. Raise your awareness that they exist, and then when you're listening and when you're reading, you will actually start to see them appear, okay? That's what I want you to do. Okay, let's have a look at some more closer up. So let's have a look at some adjective noun combinations. Maybe you're already aware of these, like an abstract concept. On the left, you have the adjective. On the right, you have the noun. Academic writing, accurate assessment, active involvement, additional cost, advanced technology. These are all beautiful sounding natural phrases. What about verbs and nouns? Like you accept responsibility for something. You achieve a goal. You affect the outcome. You apply a method. You assess the impact. You attend a conference. Again, natural sounding combinations of words. Verb and adverb, like apply equally, change dramatically, communicate effectively, contribute significantly, differ considerably, or expand rapidly. Adverbs and verbs, so now we've switched the position. So adversely affect, but very rarely would you say affect adversely. That's why in these ones, the adverb comes first. Briefly describe, briefly discuss, carefully control, clearly define, closely resemble. Adverb adjectives, almost identical, acutely aware, broadly similar, clearly evident, culturally specific, or currently available. Adverb and past participle, or the adjective form, like actively involved, carefully selected, closely related to. That preposition must accompany this phrase. Same with commonly associated with, deeply rooted, densely populated. And you can also have noun commonly occurring combinations. Of course, this one you'll know, climate change, conflict resolution, a data set, employment opportunities, expert opinion, and gender equality. So you can see that yes, this is important for this particular task, understanding collocations and being able to use them. But also, when you're writing your essay or your summarized written text or your summarized spoken text, you should be trying to use these collocations as well. I understand that the computer algorithm is actually programmed with these collocations. And as I said before, the more collocations you know actually indicates that you're more fluent in the language. Cool. All right, let's try and answer one of these questions. I'm going to give you 60 seconds. Think about the collocation. Think about the combination of words that can fill that gap. Okay, so this is really first step of the method, but we'll get to the method in a second. But what you should really be doing is scanning your eye across that text, looking at the specific gap, looking at the surrounding words, and you should be able to start to identify some collocations there. Let's have a look at the answers. So the word knowledge was there, and the gap next to it, well, it could be filled with theoretical knowledge, right? That's a very commonly occurring collocation. Or next one, analytical skills. You've probably heard that before. Ultimate qualification isn't really a common collocation, but extremely flexible certainly is. So we've got three very common collocations and one not so common, but it's the only word that could work there. So that's how it applies in practice to the task. All right, just before we move on, if you're enjoying this video, if you think you're learning something from it, please click that subscribe button down there. We're trying to break through the 200,000 subscribers. Feel free to leave a comment, like it, and share it with your friends. That would be fabulous. Okay, let's discuss word types, because now that we understand collocations, there's another little trick that can help you identify the correct answer more quickly, and that is if you can understand and identify word types. So what I want you to do, I'm going to give you 15 seconds. I want you to tell me what type of word the orange word is in this text, okay? There are 4 of them. What type of word are they? Okay, you should be able to do it that quickly. So the first one is an adjective noun combination. Theoretical is an adjective, knowledge is a noun. Same as analytical skills, we've got the adjective noun. Same as ultimate qualification, adjective noun. And the last one was adverb adjective. Now down the bottom here, you can see that these are all adjectives. And as I mentioned before, sometimes they will all be one type of word form, in which case this won't really help you out, but sometimes it's mixed. Sometimes down the bottom, you're going to get a combination of verbs and nouns and adjectives, for example. So if you can identify that the gap requires an adjective, it's going to help you to increase your chances of selecting the right one. All right? Okay. Let's apply the method now. And now that we've looked at collocations and word types, really, this is what we ought to do on test day. First thing you need to do is determine the word type. So as I said, look at the gap. If you can, think, okay, I need an adjective, or I need a preposition, or I need a verb. Then what you want to do is think about the collocation. Now, sometimes it'll be the word that's directly next to it, like we saw analytical skills. Sometimes there might be a creepy little word that gets in there and it might be the one after it, for example. So you might need to read a few words across. But really, you're looking for collocations. And then simply you just drag and drop the right answer in there. So let's do this one. I want you to firstly determine the word types that can fit here. Admittedly, this is a really difficult one, so maybe start from this one here. All right, so if you have that skill, you would have been able to, well, actually, we're not going to do that now. I'm going to show you in a second. Now use your understanding of collocations to fill the gaps. Okay. Maybe you need more time. If you need more time, do press pause and spend some more time trying to identify the answers here. Okay, let's have a look. The first one was serving, which is a tricky one. It was a gerund. By the way, I realize I've just made a mistake here. It should say scientists, plural. First, they connect scientists to each other, serving as modern-day intellectual salons. Now look at the next one. Even something scientific papers. What type of word can fit there? And what types of words are there down the bottom? We need an adjective. We've got public, formal, and that's about it. We could use prescribed possibly, but the answer here is formal. Even formal scientific papers. And there's your collocation, a formal paper. And now beginning to, well, we're talking about academia, we're talking about science, we're talking about science writing. So the next one is cite. You cite blogs as references. And of course, we needed a verb there because we had the to, so we needed the infinitive cite. What other verbs were there? Well, in fact, that was the only, view. You could have view blogs, beginning to view blogs, but that was a distractor, it was cite. Second, they connect scientists to the general, you should know this one, public, right? There we have an adjective noun combination. Now, public can function as an adjective or a noun. In this phrase, it's acting as the noun, offering a behind the scenes look at how science progresses. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many did you get out of 5? You might want to put your answer for question number 1 into the comments below. All right. Now, look here is kind of interesting because usually we think about look as a verb, but this is look. So it's actually functioning as a noun. This was a particularly tricky one, but hopefully you got some good ideas there about how it works. Okay, let's do some practice. I'm going to give you 2 additional ones. Here you go, 60 seconds. Your time starts now. Okay, that should be enough time, especially because I showed you this one earlier. Let's go through the answers. First of all, it was ideal preparation, adjective noun. Now, I believe we needed a verb here. Now, if we look down the bottom, we have 2 verbs. We have desire and demand. But this one required demand positions in industries which demand graduates who are blah, 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 blah. Consumer what? We could say consumer aware. Well, it doesn't quite work. Plus the second one, commercially aware, is a more common collocation. So we're going to go with consumer focused and commercially aware, innovative, internationally orientated, and technically what? Well, competent makes sense in this context. So we have ideal preparation, positions demand, consumer focus, commercially aware, and technically competent. You can see the collocations here. Let's do another one. All right, this text is pretty tricky. You probably looked at that first couple of words, unicellular diatoms, and thought, uh-oh, I can't do this. But again, remember, it's not really about the entire context of the text. That's reading and writing fill in the blanks. This one, looking at the gap, you're looking for the word type, you're looking for the collocation, right? Let's go through the answers to this one. So first of all, you adapt your behavior, or these unicellular diatoms actually adapt their behavior to different what? We have stimuli, so we need an adjective. We look down the bottom, we see auditory is an adjective. We see external is an adjective. So we have to choose between those two. That's pretty good. That gives us a 50% chance. Now from the context, we would choose external stimuli, adapting to external stimuli based on an evaluation of their own needs. In experiments, semi-nervous robusta diatoms directed their, well, we need a noun, orientation or starvation, or sources. Directed their sources? Well, directed their orientation either towards nutrient sources or mating partners, depending on the degree of starvation and the need to mate. So there are, by the way, this text is quite interesting if you think about that. You adapt behavior, external stimuli, you directed your orientation, nutrient sources. In fact, directed orientation is not really a collocation. It's just the only word that could fit. Nutrient sources certainly is. And starvation, well, it's no collocation there. It came from the context of the text, okay? So most of the time, almost all of the time it will work. Not quite though. You still need to be a little bit flexible. Cool, that's it guys. If you need help with your PTE in any way, do check out e2language.com. It's 100% online test preparation. How it works is like this. We've got this central platform, e2language.com, where you sign up for free if you like, and you can upgrade your account. On the platform, we give all of the methods, including the express methods and the extended methods, the practice questions, grammar lessons, overviews, you name it, the word lists. From the platform, we run one-on-one tutorials. So we've got now currently 20-something teachers dotted around the world. So if you do want a one-on-one expert tutorial on speaking or writing, for example, you can do that. We run live group classes Monday to Thursday for PT 65 and PT 79, twice a day. So that's pretty fun. There's a teacher and there might be 100, 120 students there. We also deliver speaking and writing feedback as well. So you can submit your speaking or writing through the platform. Teacher will identify what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. Cool. So if you do need help or you just want to download that word list, check out e2language.com and that'll certainly help you out. Anyway, I hope this lesson was helpful. Collocations are hopefully something that is not invisible to you, hopefully something that you will start to really pay attention to now, something that you'll start to identify, and more importantly, something that you'll start to use in your speaking and writing because, as I said, it makes you sound like a native speaker. It really is the difference between knowing a lot of vocabulary and knowing that vocabulary so well that you sound like an American or an Australian or whatever it is. So definitely a good skill. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope it was helpful. I'll see you soon.